Hello, everybody, and welcome to my live show. It's Friday night again. It's come round quickly, as it always does. And I'm here tonight with another guest from Australia. I had the lovely Sue Ellen Corden on last week from Australia. So I've had an Australian couple of weeks, which is fantastic. One of the things that Sue Ellen told me when I was talking to her last week is that I have about 3 seconds to gain your interest. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do in the first 3 seconds to gain your interest, but hopefully you'll stick around because I have got an amazing guest tonight. Her name is Peace Mitchell, and I'm just going to have a little look at the bio that she sent me. And her role is all about empowering women, and this really touched my heart when I read her story and what she does. She talks about working with women, helping them to recognise their strengths, develop their potential, giving them skills, and obviously ultimately strategies leading on to creating a successful and sustainable business, which is fantastic. But over and above that, she also talks about the impact of motherhood. And that's something that I'm fascinated to talk to her about, because I think a lot of people, obviously all of us mothers will understand, but a lot of people don't understand that once you have children, it does have a massive impact on your career and on your life and the direction you can go in. So I'm really excited to talk to her about that. And I have to say a huge thank you, because as I mentioned, she is in Australia. So she's got up super early to be here with us today. So we are really honoured. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce her and say hi. And let me just pop her on screen now. And there we go. Hi, Peace. You're live on air.
Yay. Hello. It's lovely to be here.
So you're currently live in the UK at just gone 8 o'clock at night. And it is what time over there?
It's 7 a.m. on Saturday morning here in Melbourne.
So it's very early.
It's very early indeed, yes.
So we've got one of my regular followers, Sandra, said hello, and so she's here.
Hi,
and watching,
Sandra.
which is fantastic. We've also got my husband, who is always here because he kind of has to be. So we've got a couple of people watching us at the moment. So we'll get sort of straight into it. Obviously, I mentioned in the introduction about what it is that you do, but maybe it'd be easier for you to just kind of sum it up. How you came about doing what you do, and where your inspirations came from, and then we can kind of maybe dig a little bit deeper, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So my business, I have 2 businesses, and one of them is Osmanpreneur, which is Australian mum entrepreneurs. And we created this business back in 2009 as we recognised there was a need for support for women who were starting businesses from home who had young children. And since back then, there really wasn't a lot of support for people starting home-based businesses. And it was still a bit of a, people would say, oh, I have a home-based business, and people would go, okay. And there was that whole idea that if you had a home-based business, it was really more of a hobby. You were never going to make any money from it. And you were just kind of playing around. You weren't serious. So we realised that we needed somewhere for these women to come together, that they could support each other, they could ask questions and get advice from each other. It would also be somewhere where they could celebrate their wins, but also if they've had a bad day, come and say, oh my gosh, this has happened, I don't know what to do. And that's how it began. Since then, it's just grown. It's huge. And I think similarly to the UK, in Australia, the trend of women starting businesses has just gone through the roof. And as Facebook, as Twitter, as social media has developed, of course, as well, the technology, it's so much easier to build websites now and get online. More and more women are just going, you know what? I'm not going to do the 9 to 5. I am not interested in a boss dictating to me when I will and won't be with my kids. I'm a mum. I want to be available to my children when they need me, and I don't want to miss out on that time with them. And so for many women, creating a business has allowed them that flexibility, and that it's given them the freedom to have that family time. And that's a really important thing. And so, we've seen over those years since 2009 that we've had our business just more and more women, thousands of women have started businesses. So we've then developed other things to support them. So the Osmanpreneur Awards is something that we do, and we recognise and celebrate the best and brightest mums in business in Australia. And we've uncovered the most incredible women through that process. So these are women who are mums with young children who've started businesses and now have multi-million-dollar global companies. It's quite incredible what some of them have achieved. Yeah.
Gosh.
But also what I love about the awards is that for some people, a multi-million-dollar business is what they want. But for others, they're quite happy to just have a business that keeps them going and makes a bit of money and enables them to be with their children. And both are fabulous. You know, it's not just about the fame and fortune. It's also about family time. And I love that we can all define success for ourselves in whatever that looks like for ourselves. So the awards is something we've done. As well as that, we've also developed a program called the Women's Business School, which I'm really excited about. It launched in 2016, so we've been running for 18 months now. And it's a 6-month program, which the Ignite course was the one we started with, and it's for pre-launch and women just starting a business, and it has all of the basics of, you know, your marketing, your finances, your sales, all of those covered, but in a really time-efficient way. Because what we found when we looked at other courses, that some of them require 20 hours a week of study. And when you're running a business, you've got a busy family, like who has 20 hours spare? So we created a course where it's much more, streamlined content and easy for women to fit into their busy lives and keep doing everything else they're doing. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we do.
And I mean, I do want to tap into a few bits that you said there, but we have just got a couple more hellos, so I will say that.
Okay,
Sandra said, hi, peace, lovely name.
Hi, Sandra, thank you.
I've got another good friend of mine, Kate, has said she's going to be watching on and off, so hopefully she'll dip in and out. And she's an author like myself as well, so she works obviously from home, building her business, but she's also a mum. So she's sort of your target audience, as am I, really. And Mark wants to know, completely unrelated, if you live, well, he's put Ramsbury Street, but he means Ramsay Street.
I know what he means. Yes, I do. I live near Ramsay Street.
Do you? Wow, okay.
Well, Ramsay Street is in Melbourne. It's not actually like around the corner from me, but it is in my city. So yes, I do live near Ramsay Street.
Have you been there?
I have not been to Ramsay Street, but it is nearby.
Fantastic. So one of the, I'm just going to check I haven't missed any comments before we carry on now. So we'll sort of go a little bit back to the beginning, if that's okay, where you mentioned the, I don't think prejudice is the right word, but the sort of the common misconception that if a woman is running a business from home, it's a hobby, which obviously were the words that you used, and it's not taken seriously. And I can personally relate to that, as I'm sure, hundreds and thousands of other women can. And it's one of those things that can be very frustrating. If you were somebody like myself who had a very, very good career before I had children, and it was my choice. I gave that up to have the children. We decided we wanted to, give them the best start in life, which for us, we thought was for me to be at home with them. And obviously, once you've done that and you've given up that period of your life to do that, it's incredibly difficult to get back into the workplace in the same way that you were in the workplace before, because obviously not only do you maybe have to start again or climb another ladder or whatever, you've also got all these other draws on your time, which you reference. So, all of a sudden you've got children you've got to worry about, you've got childcare, you've got all the kind of other things that go with it. So for a lot of women, running a business from home, being self-employed is the ideal solution. But breaking that barrier of people actually accepting that you are trying to run a viable business rather than messing about at home and sort of sitting with your feet up watching telly or whatever, that's quite a difficult barrier to break. And I guess that's obviously where you kind of came from initially when you very first started the business. Yeah,
absolutely. And that was our experience. We went along to like the Women's Business Network lunches, and we'd say, yes, we have a home-based business and we're doing this and that. And they would just sort of look down their nose at us and go, oh, okay, and wouldn't really take us seriously. And a lot of the work that we've done over the years has been about changing that message. So in Australia, we've done a lot of government advocacy. So we've met with the federal minister for small business and the state ministers for small business. And we've said, there's these women out there who are creating businesses, and some of them have these multi-million-dollar businesses. They've started from home. It's not just a hobby. It's something that the government needs to be prioritizing and investing in and taking seriously and providing more support. So we did a lot of that kind of government advocacy. We've also done a lot of PR, and the Osmanpreneur Awards really is all about changing that message and changing those assumptions so that people are realizing that, okay, yes, these women have children, yes, they're running businesses from home, but as well as that, they're creating incredible businesses, and we should be taking them seriously. This isn't just a hobby business anymore. Times have changed, and this is what the future looks like. People talk about the future of work and employees working remotely. That's happening already. And I think that, over time, more and more people are going to be working from home, and it's going to be seen as a normal thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it does give you flexibility. Which is what I find. I work from home, and it does give you flexibility because obviously if you need to be somewhere, you can be somewhere. You're your own boss. You can manage your time. I think the downside of that is you need to obviously be very, very disciplined. And not only do you need others to understand that you are not available all of the time, but you also need to understand that yourself. And for me, that's been quite a hard thing to do, because it's very easy to say, oh yeah, I'll meet you for a coffee, or yes, I'll do this, or yes, I can do that doctor's appointment, or whatever it might be. And before you know it, your working day, your working week is taken up with things that are not relevant to your business. And then obviously that means that your business is falling behind. So you're constantly playing catch up. And then you get a bit disillusioned because you're sort of like, well, I'm not getting anywhere. And I think, that's something, and I struggle with, and I still struggle with it. And it's a big sort of barrier for me, is making sure that I treat my time at home, my working time, as importantly as I would treat it were I physically going out of the house to work. And I think that's quite a difficult balance as well to find. Is that something that you've kind of come across?
That's interesting. Yeah. But more commonly than that, I find women who are just working themselves into the ground. So I don't know whether this is what you're seeing in the UK as well, but there seems to be this push towards this idea of the hustle and this idea that you have to be working hard all the time. And so we see women who are staying up till 2 a.m. working on their business and then going to bed, getting up at 5. That's not sustainable. They're only getting 3 hours sleep, and they're thinking that they have to do everything themselves and they have to be working constantly to manage their business. So, there's a lot of issues around that, like making working from home work. And I think setting boundaries around your time is what has worked for me. Absolutely. In my first year or two, I was working those really long hours, working at night and working on weekends. And my husband would say, okay, we're going to take the kids camping and let's go. And I'd say, well, I've got all this work to do. And I'd miss out on family experiences like that because I'd want to be working. And it got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to be spending time with my family. And so I have clear boundaries around my time now. And I finish at, when the kids finish school, when the kids are home from school, that's it. I'm done. I don't go back to the computer at night. Yeah. And weekends, that's family time as well. Yeah. So, treating that time when I am working, like I'm just working. I don't try and fold washing or do the dishes or anything like that. It's just get in and get that work done.
See, that's what I am guilty of, and I know this, and it's something that I do need to work on. But I'll sit down, I'll do a couple of hours or whatever, and then I think, I better just go and do that, or I better, things that if I wasn't physically in the house, I wouldn't be able to do. But because I'm in the house, it's like, I better just go and get that, or I need a pint of milk, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just touch on a few of the things that you told me. Obviously, you help people with. The first one was really the importance of investing in women. That's one of the comments that you have that you've made. So this is something that you've obviously recognised, which you touched briefly on, that obviously women are a very important part of the workforce, however it comes about, whether they work from home, whether they're in the corporate world. So is that sort of one of the concepts that you try and help people with?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And by investing in women, we can change the world. Women have such a different perspective on things from men. And I've done a bit of research into this area. And when women, for example, when a woman starts a farm, she's more likely to implement sustainable farming practices. So she's more likely to use less pesticides and, not overwork the production, and to be thinking about the farm as a whole rather than just the profit margins. And so if we had more women doing things, bringing this kind of energy into the world, we could really make a big change to the world. And what we find every year through the awards that we hold is that we've got 20 categories, but the number one category every year is the Making a Difference Award.
Right.
So every year, the most nominees we get is for making a difference, because what we find is that women don't start a business just to make profit. Yes, making a profit's part of it, but they're actually starting businesses because they want to make an impact in some way.
Yeah.
So it might be environmentally, it might be humanitarian efforts, it might be helping their local community. They might be passionate about literacy or helping women in some way. There's a real sense of purpose when women start businesses. And that's something we're finding more and more and more. So when you're investing in women and helping women to get businesses off the ground, you're also investing in things that aren't just enterprises to make money, but they're actually going to make an impact in the world. So imagine that. Imagine if we could help all the women in the world who had these incredible ideas to change things and make the world a better place. Imagine if that's where we invested our money, instead of, investing money in venture capital and another Snapchat and another delivery app. Really? We don't need those.
No. And I mean, that's such an interesting observation, because driving for, and I can obviously only speak personally, but the driving force for me personally, obviously, yes, we'd all like to have the money that we think we want. We'd all love to have the penthouses and the holiday homes and all, whatever. We'd all like that. Of course we would. But the driving force for me has never been about the money. It's always been about inspiring others, showing other people that you can do something. And, if people are interested in writing a book, helping them to achieve that. But also it's been about, like a sort of a path of self-discovery. Sounds really kind of new age and whatever. And I don't kind of mean it like that, but more about sort of giving me that feeling of being that person again, which we can lose once we become, once we become a mother. And I'm just going to put this question up from Sandra. It's actually a really interesting question. She's saying, do you set aside an area in your house to do your work? And if so, do family members understand if you are in this area that you are busy working?
Yes, I do. I actually have an office, but it's in my bedroom. So every morning, once everyone's gone off to school and before I start working, I make the bed and tidy the room and set everything up so that it then becomes my office. And I actually, when my daughter, I have a 4-year-old, so she goes to kindy. She starts at 11:30, so she's home for a couple of hours. And I have an au pair who comes and looks after her. And, she knows that when I'm up there and the door's closed and I'm working, that's working time. But then when I come downstairs, then it's family time. So, yeah, I do. And I think that having those boundaries, whatever boundaries you can find, whether that's physical boundaries of somewhere to work or physical boundary or like time boundaries around your work hours and your family time, I think it's really important so that you can maintain that balance of being a very present mum, but also being a very professional business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I sort of do similar. My office is in the spare bedroom, so we're both in bedrooms.
Yes.
And I've got sort of a cubby hole in the spare bedroom. I haven't got it down to as fine an art as you have, I have to say. But that's entirely my fault. That's nothing to do with my family. That's just, I haven't quite got to that point yet where I am as rigid with my time and my boundaries, as you put it, as I would like to. But I'm getting there, and I'm hoping that, as I continue on in my journey, it's still a very early stages for me in my journey. So I'm hoping that as I continue on, that will get better. I'm going to talk about the impact of motherhood. And anyone that's a mother will, I'm sure, relate to this. I'm just going to get rid of those so we can have the caption on rather than being on our faces. It'll be underneath. There we go. So the impact of motherhood. This is something, and this is no disrespect to men or our male viewers, that they really do not understand. You are a person, and then you have these children, and you cease to become a person. You suddenly become somebody's mum. And I don't know whether it's a similar experience to yourself, but that's all anybody wants to talk to you about is your children. And initially that's fantastic, wonderful, great. But after a while, you sort of, for me, I'm there going, hang on, I'm in here too. I can do something else. I'm not just this mother. And I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing this is where you're coming from when you're talking about the impact of motherhood, trying to educate women, but obviously the sort of the general working population, that it does have a huge impact on us both professionally and personally.
Absolutely. I have 4 children. My youngest daughter is 4 years old. When she was born, my husband had 1 day off work. He only had 1 day off work. It had no impact on his career in any way. But as a mother of 4 children, I was, I didn't work for 3 months, but fortunately I had my own business and I was able to set that up. So I was able to take that time off. And then when I did return to work, I was able to just do 1 day a week or whatever. But yeah, it's always different for women, and it always has an impact in some way. And whether that's, women have to reduce their hours or they step out of the workforce, and some women step out of the workforce for 5 or more years. Yeah. And that does make an impact on their career path. It makes an impact on their superannuation or like retirement money that they're given. And yeah, it impacts everything. And I was formerly a primary school teacher before I had my children. And I just found after my first son was born that I just felt differently about it. And it didn't make sense to me to go and spend a whole day with other people's children when I was missing out on spending a whole day with my own children. So, yeah, motherhood really makes a big difference. And it's something we need to talk about more because when you're in high school, they're like, girls can do anything and you'll have this great career. You got to work hard, go to uni, get a good job, and then you get the good job. But then how does motherhood fit with that? And it really, for a lot of women, it doesn't. And it's a matter of refinding yourself. And
it has got a lot better. I mean, the workplace and employers are now much, much more flexible than they ever were. And, that's a huge positive. But it does... it's one of those things that nobody tells you about when you have children. You go to all these classes and they sort of tell you, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. There's several things they leave out of those classes that would be quite useful to know. And one of them is exactly this: how much of an impact. Obviously, a hugely positive impact, and I'm not trying to take anything away from that at all. But the impact that it does have on, your working life and your career, and trying to sort of get back to where you were, if indeed that's what you want to do. I'm just going to put these couple of comments up from Mark. He's having a moan. I bring you cups of tea whilst you're working. And this is my favourite. I'm looking forward to being a house husband when book sales take off. So his idea is that when I have sold enough books for him to be able to give up work, he is going to get a golf membership and play golf all day.
That's nice, Mark.
Yes.
Yes, keep dreaming.
Yes. We've got another one of our regular viewers has just popped up. SFC Price. Hi there. I had 1 day's paid leave for the birth of my first child. Thankfully, we are moving in the right direction on that issue. So his eldest child, I'm probably getting this wrong, is 21, I think. So, it was a good few years ago now. But yeah, times have changed.
Yeah, absolutely. And things are moving in the right direction, but it's pretty slow. I know that there are still employers, women will say, I want to come back to work. I really want to work, but I can't work full time. Can I have part time? And they will just say, no, you can't have part time. It's full time or nothing. You have to decide between your new baby or your career. And, that's a hard decision to make, and it's not fair. No. Women shouldn't have to make a decision like that.
No.
Yeah, so...
Sandra's having a word with Mark. Yeah. We'll leave that there. So
I do know some women who have retired their husband from their previous career, but their husbands come into the business and help their wives usually. So
oh yes, crikey.
Maybe that will happen before the golf membership.
He's just got this idea that once that happens, that's all he's gonna go and play golf. So fine. Let's leave him to that notion. Right. Oh my gosh, we're getting on time here. So we were talking earlier on about the corporate world. And one of the things that you commented to me was that there are, thousands of women are leaving the corporate world to start their own businesses. This is obviously a trend that you've come across. Is this to do with the flexibility, or, what's that all about?
Yeah, absolutely. It's women just realizing that 9 to 5, and honestly, not too many people are able to finish at 5. It's a traditional model. It was designed by men for men. And for women, it just doesn't really fit. To get there for 9, you have to leave at 8. You've got to be up and dressed, but you've also got to get kids to school. And sometimes the schools don't start till 9 or 8:45. So how do you juggle that? And then schools finish at 3. So then it's okay, well, then you've got to organise some kind of after school care and someone to look after them. And then by the time you get home from a 9 to 5 job, and you've got to make dinner and you've got to bath kids, but then you've also got to help with homework, and it really, women are exhausted. They really are. And it's just not working. And sometimes women will try it for the first couple of years after having children and then go, there's got to be a better way than this. It just is not working for me. So women are then looking to starting businesses as a solution to that, and a way to find that flexibility and, better family time and better work-life balance. And that's not ideal either. I do want to make a point that starting a business isn't this wonderful thing. It can be incredibly hard. You're not going to make money for the first year or two, and you may never get back to the same equivalent wage that you were getting in the corporate world. There's no guarantees with business that it is going to take off in the way that you hope it to. So it can be a risk leaving the corporate world.
It is, isn't it? Because obviously when you're in a corporate world, you've got your security of knowing you're going to get paid every month. You've got your sickness benefits, you've got your retirement benefits, you've got all of those things. When you start your own business and you're on your own, you've got no regular source of income. If you're sick, then that's it. And so it does need a lot of thinking about, and sort of taking obviously that into account seriously. Now, you've mentioned to me, and I will just. Yes, you mentioned to me. So I'm wondering if this is where the Women's Business School comes on board. So you said that you help people to recognise their strengths. I'll just sort of flash these up here. So how to recognise your strengths, to develop your potential. Oh, that's come up really big. And strategies to create a successful business. So are these three sort of areas that you cover in your Women's Business School, and, trying to kind of pull those things out of women to encourage them and help them and assist them?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we find is that a lot of the women who start businesses do have incredibly successful careers behind them. So they've got lots of skills already, but they don't necessarily have all of the skills required to run a business. And so the course is designed to help develop their potential and help them get those skills that they need. So, for example, I was a teacher, which is great. I've got great people skills. I can organize stuff. I can handle a lot of things going on, and lots of projects and things. But I had no experience in sales or marketing, because as a teacher, your class, they just turn up and you're like, okay, everyone, take out your pencil. You don't have to go out and say, okay, who's going to be in my class today? I need 30 students. Where are they going to come from? I've got to put an ad out. Yeah, it's not like that. So I've had to learn how to do sales and marketing and PR and, accounts, profit and loss statements. I've had to learn all of that because those were skills I didn't have. So the Women's Business School is all about helping women who are like me, who've got these amazing careers behind them, but want to start something new and need a new skill set and things. Yeah. But as well as that, so it's about providing the education and the training, but as well as that, it's about the support, because I'm sure, as you realize, working from home can be incredibly isolating and lonely. Yeah. And not everyone understands when you start a business, not your normal friends and family might not be business owners, so they don't necessarily understand the challenges you're facing. So having a group of people around you who are at the same point in the journey as you, who are also working from home, who are also isolated, who are also starting new businesses while bringing up young children, like having that support around you is crucial to keeping a business going. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is really relevant, isn't it? Because I think one of the things that I've found is that you are exceedingly isolated. And so my way of combating that, which is sort of the point I touched on earlier, is I'll go out for a coffee with a friend or something, which is great. That helps with the isolation, but obviously that's taking away the time from my business. So if you are in a situation, which obviously, your business school helps people to do, where you can have buddies, if you like, that are looking at the same things, and you can just kind of keep each other going and, reassure each other that, okay, we are isolated, but we're not alone. That I imagine is hugely powerful.
Yes, absolutely. That connection with other people who get it is really important. Yeah. Because otherwise you're talking to people who don't have businesses, and sometimes they can be really negative about it. They're like, oh, I don't think it's going to work. And that can be really unhelpful.
But you do need those people in your corner as well, who will support you no matter what. And that might be your family, it might be your friends, it might be complete strangers that you happen to meet who, are 100% behind you. Definitely. And those are all different things that you don't need in the corporate world, because obviously you just go and you turn up and you do your job and you get paid and you come home again. So looking at working from home, or being self-employed and doing your own business, is a completely different ball game. And I can totally relate to you with your sales and marketing and that kind of thing. I mean, I don't my background is, well, I've done a lot of things, but my main background is in commercial insurance. So not sales, not marketing, not accounting, not even writing. There's nothing from that really that, you know, is necessarily a transferable skill. And like you say, you're suddenly thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to try and get people to watch my show, because they're not just going to suddenly appear. And oh my gosh, I've got to get people to buy my book. How is that going to happen? And I don't know about you, but I've sort of over the years found myself watching that many marketing courses and that, you know, online and, you know, webinars and whatever, and just sort of thinking, I still don't know what to do. It's really tricky, because you suddenly go from being one of a number to one of one who has to do absolutely everything.
Yes.
Which echoes what you said, you know, about it not being easy.
This is what I was talking about before, with women who are, you know, staying up till 2 a.m. thinking they've got to do everything themselves. And we do have people around us. So we do have our family and friends around us that we can ask for help. And, you know, they might not know about marketing, but they might be able to help you, particularly your family members might be able to help you with the washing, help you make dinner, help with those things around the home so that you can have time to focus on your business. And reaching out and asking for help is such an important thing to do. And it can help you with your marketing and other aspects of your business as well. And I think that for a lot of women, we've been taught that, you know, no, you've got to do it by yourself. And if you ask for help, it's admitting failure. And that's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. You know, if you want to grow a strong business, you can't actually do it by yourself. You're going to need people to help you get there. So, yeah, I just would encourage anyone watching just not to be afraid to ask for help.
Kate is going back to my problem about having coffee instead of working. So Kate and I and another friend of ours, Elaine, we meet up occasionally. We're all authors, so we just kind of have a couple of hours where we talk shop. But that is just as valuable to your business as
absolutely
as, you know, just sort of sitting there punching away on the keyboard.
Yeah, absolutely, Kate. You and Elaine and Anne-Marie getting together and talking about your writing and supporting each other through the journey is really, really important. So, yeah, please don't give up your coffee dates.
No, I don't think there's any
danger. Really valuable.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. I was going to say something else and I've completely forgotten what it was now. It'll come back to me. So if people are interested, I'll pop your website up here. So this is the business school that you were talking about. Obviously, this is in Australia. Is it?
Yes.
Is it a physical place you go to, or is it online? Or
it's actually online. We do a one-day masterclass where we come together and do a business action plan. And if we had enough interest from the UK, we would fly over and do a workshop. And we're looking at doing that, you know, down the track, maybe later this year. Yeah, it is
coming to the UK.
Yeah, it's on the vision board. We want to come and do a masterclass in the UK, and but it's a 6-month program which is all run online. So we've had women from Sweden and different places come and do the online course with us as well. So yeah, it's a 6-month program and it covers all of the things you need to get your business going.
Yeah. Fantastic. Because I think, you know, the things that I've learned have just been through really trial and error. And I think we're all continuing to learn every day. But it's always very useful to have it packaged in one place where it's dedicated specifically to you and you know, to the work that you're doing and to women and the other challenges they face. So I can imagine it's an absolutely invaluable resource for many women who are just sort of maybe they're dipping their toe in the water, they're not entirely sure what to do, or maybe they've been working for a while but they haven't quite achieved their objectives or whatever. I'm guessing this is where it comes into its own.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can go back and rewatch the marketing video or the sales video or the finances video, and you can go back through your notes, and all of the assessment is tailored to your own business. So rather than working on a hypothetical example, you're actually doing the finances for your own business or the marketing strategy for your own business. So it's really, really valuable for people who are in business and getting things going.
Yeah, but it sounds brilliant. And we've got a couple more comments. So Kate said, "Don't worry, I won't." So she's not giving up. She's not giving up the coffee.
Very good, Kate.
Mark's suggesting that we actually come to you.
We'll come to you.
Comes to you. What is your weather? What's your weather doing at the moment?
Oh my gosh, we're having a heat wave. It was so hot last night that we couldn't sleep. And I was thinking of all of you over there in the middle of winter. It's just crazy. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, we're having a very cold wave at the moment, and it's set to get... Apparently, we've got, a polar vortex or something coming next week. So we've got snow.
That doesn't sound good.
It doesn't, does it? No. So it's been very cold for a very long time. And apparently next week it's going to get even colder. So, I'm really looking forward to the summer and hopefully getting some nice sun. Sandra said that her late husband had a motto on a magnet attached to his filing cabinet, which said, "No coffee, no worky." Maybe you all need one of those. I think that sounds exactly what we all need, definitely. And Mark reckons he needs one of those magnets, but
yes.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant to talk to you, Peace. And as I said at the beginning of the show, I'm thrilled that you got up early to talk to us over here in the UK. It does slightly blow my mind that we're able to do this, and the fact that you're in Saturday and we're still in Friday. It's crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's cool. Unbelievable, isn't it? Obviously we grew up in an age that was very, very, very much less technological than it is now. So to be able to sit here talking to you over the other side of the world is just an incredible thing. But I'm very, very grateful that we can, and I'm very grateful to you for coming onto the show. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to pop the links back up to Peace's course and all the other bits and pieces in the comments after the show. And obviously, if you're watching this on replay, you can pick all of those up as well. And I think that's it, really. Was there anything else you wanted to share with us before you go, Peace?
I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I've just really enjoyed chatting with you today, and I hope that I can come over and visit you sometime soon.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you'll have to keep in touch, and if you are over this way, then we'll have to make sure that we manage to meet up or something, and we'll have a coffee.
Sounds fabulous. Yes. Kate and Elaine can come too, and we'll all chat. It'll be wonderful.
We'll all have a coffee. Sounds brilliant. Mark just wants to know what you're doing for the rest of the day.
What am I doing today? We're thinking about going to a waterfall today. It's so hot outside.
Ah, nice. Excellent. Well, we'll be going to bed shortly.
Okay.
So that's brilliant. So as I say, thank you, Sandra, for watching. Yay, that's two coming along for a coffee.
Yay.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And thank you ever so much, Peace. It's been a really, really lovely opportunity to chat with you. I wish you every success with, obviously, your continued success with your business school and everything else. And we will definitely keep in touch. And, should you come this way, we will definitely meet up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and good night.
Good night. Well, yes, good morning. Okay, thanks, everyone, for watching. See you again soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.